Wow, I can't tell what's worse, how poorly this splash screen has aged, or this game. Psst, it's the game. Hey Titan fans, Spammer D here. So, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Teen Titans 2 on the Game Boy Advance is a major disappointment. And I'm not gonna lie, it's actually kinda surprising. Yeah, and for any of you about to say, well, it's a licensed game based on a kid's show, what'd you expect? Tell that to the first two games. The first outing on the GBA, while yeah, was definitely geared towards kids, was still a decent action platformer. And the console version of the game, while nothing outstanding, had a lot of heart, and is still fun to play even now. But this third one? Yeah, third one. And final game, released featuring the 2003 Teen Titans, was clearly nothing more than a cash grab. And the first indicator of this is easily the graphics. I mean, just look at the Titans. What's that I hear you say? They actually look pretty good. Well, yeah, I'd actually have to agree with you. In fact, I think I have before. I wouldn't be surprised if when developing this game, they saw how good the heroes looked and went, man, how can we use these more? To which someone said, give them a palette swap and call them clones. Money in the bank. Well, would you look at that. They went and recycled the same sprites again. But you know what? I don't blame them. After all, you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Same thing with the intro theme. Fans would be understandably upset if they went and axed that amazing OP. But here's the thing, that whole if it ain't broke, don't fix it concept only works if you don't ignore everything else that was broken to begin with. Which this game does, and still manages to break even more. Made all the worse by the fact that most gamers would come in expecting a sequel to, oh, I don't know, improve on what came before. But hey, maybe that's just me. Let's dive a little deeper. Teen Titans 2, like its predecessor, is an action platformer. Each stage is divided into 3 or 4 segments with your goal being to reach the exit. But just like before, each stage isn't exactly linear, with a few little hidden offshoots leading to health and other power-ups here and there. They're also packed with enemies to fight and minor objectives to hit in order to progress. But where things take a major nosedive from the original is the Titans themselves. And no, I don't mean the sprites. Gone is that awesome mechanic that the other two games shared, where you can swap between the Titans at will to best handle the different situations. Instead, this time around, all the Titans have been kidnapped and you have to rescue them one by one. The game starts you off as Robin, having just escaped his cell. Now running into your first enemy, you'll immediately find that like all the grounded Titans, he's got a basic combo that triggers when you repeatedly hit the attack button, locking you into a very slow animation that will, yes, absolutely result in you getting hit more often than you deserve. And just like in the previous game, if enemies attack you from both sides, you're basically screwed. Definitely one of those things that should have been improved upon for a sequel. But at least the frame rate isn't as choppy as before, so you know, there's a plus. Fortunately though, Robin is also packing an uppercut and a jump kick, both of which are great for cheesing baddies, especially these big guys. Yeah, the AI in this game isn't too bright. Robin's also got a double jump and a wall jump. That is, very finicky. Poor Robin, always in Batman's shadow. But at least his jump attack is ranged and can home in on foes. Mostly. It's better than nothing, as we'll soon find out. Moving on, the first Titan you rescue is Cyborg. And that's when you learn that the different Titans are assigned different stages, with the other Titans only popping up as either a super attack or to help solve problems after you've rescued them. Though why Cyborg still needs Robin there to hack a computer for him is beyond me. Cyborg's gimmicks rest in his power meter. Instead of a double jump, he can hover for a short while, and he can also use a charge attack in the air to shoot missiles. And of course, he's packing his iconic arm cannon. Booyah! Though clearly he could use some oil, cause old Cy can't seem to move his arm above 90 degrees, making those flying ranged attack foes a pain in the metallic ass.
And that's not even including when they pop shot you from off the screen. Or through the walls. Yeah, cause that's fair. Raven's up next, and she's alright. She's always flying and can spam projectiles, which is certainly better than the attack combos. But you don't exactly get to pick your attack target. The projectiles will go wherever your lock-on target is pointing, and this thing has got a mind of its own. She can also throw crates and barrels, and enemies too. Though it seems like you have to weaken them first before you can toss them around. Though there's no indicator that they've reached that point, so you'll probably just be attacking and end up picking them up by accident. Which also kind of highlights another bad holdover from the previous game. Enemies have way too much health, making taking them down tedious as all hell.
Starfire is the last Titan you rescue, pretty close to the end of the game, meaning you don't get to play with her much. Which sucks, because she is my favorite Titan.
All of her stages, except for the last one, are very slow auto-scrolling stages that play like really bad shoot-em-ups. She's packing a single shot that you can spam, a spread shot, and a charge shot that explodes. And naturally, when a game gives you the spreader, you use the spreader. Which makes all but the last stage, you know, the one where you can fly around freely with her, a breeze to get through. It's probably why they kept her locked up until the end. She's pretty OP, at least compared to the rest of the Titans. Wait. Aren't we forgetting someone? Someone that's crucial to the story? Someone among the Titans that has a history with the villains of this game. The Brotherhood of Evil. How could I forget? Tram the fish guy.
Okay. I'm sorry, Beast Boy fans, but not for that cringy joke. I'm sorry because, Beast Boy really got the shaft in this game. I mean, everything about how he plays is utter garbage.
Gone is his ability to fly or vent, instead being replaced by climbing. As a monkey. How fitting. And man, is it janky too. It is so easy to just pass straight through whatever you're trying to cling to, where BB will immediately shapeshift into his most powerful form. Roadkill. Man, DK just makes this look so easy. And unfortunately, it gets worse for our green shapeshifting friend here. His other ability is combat related. Every enemy that BB drops or hit that he takes fills his power meter, and when it maxes out, he goes into his super form! I guess. I never saw much improvement in this state, and you can't really control when it activates either. It just goes off when the bar caps out. But the major problem here is that Beast Boy is the worst fighter. He's the only character with no form of projectile, making him free reign for any enemy with a ranged attack, aka all of them. And yes, he did actually have one in the console game, but making it even worse is that he has considerably less health than the rest of the Titans, so expect to die with him. A lot. And this is where it's worth noting that the game isn't as easy as its predecessor. Yes, you do have infinite lives, but the stages can have some real length to them, especially towards the end. And dying starts you right back at the beginning, right before the unskippable dialogue segments. And you will die, whether it's due to cheaply placed enemies or the stages themselves. And remember how I mentioned how good the Titans looked earlier? Well, the stages don't fare quite nearly as well. And sure, at first glance, nothing looks particularly bad, but you'll soon find that it is surprisingly difficult to tell what you can and can't jump on.
And keep in mind, I am playing on a large, brightly lit TV screen here. Though I did play it on the GBA just for consistency, it didn't improve things. Trust me.
Plus, there's lots of areas where you just have to make leaps of faith, or you just have to go down not knowing what's below you, and your career as a Titan Go begins. Toss in a lot of cheap hits, and I mean a lot of cheap hits. Just look at these lasers popping up out of nowhere. And no, I can't immediately spring into action when I land. And you have a recipe for disaster. Even the audio is a bit of a letdown, though that's not because of the music. The music itself is actually pretty good and works well with an action game, and it definitely synergizes with the show's distinct style. And of course, that theme song, still great. My problem with it is that they axed the voiceovers from the previous game. Like, Why downgrade? It's such a strange decision. It's not like they really added anything that would warrant cutting other things. I don't know, but at least there's still one last positive thing worth mentioning. Aside from the nice character sprites, the game actually gives Beast Boy the final boss fight against the Brain, which was his old team, the Doom Patrol's big bad. So that's actually a nice nod to continuity. As a fan, I approve. But only of that. The rest of this game is just a mess. Which is why, if you haven't guessed it yet, I can't recommend Teen Titans 2 to anyone. Not even the fans. Seriously, I do not know how they managed to mess this game up so thoroughly when they already had a working template from the first game to build off of, which they actually took assets from. While the graphics themselves are decent and the music is quite fitting, the level design is just cheap, and they didn't address any of the problems of the first game. And without the switching mechanic, the Titans just can't handle all those unfair situations like they could before. The first Teen Titans on the GBA was anything but perfect, but it was that easy kind of enjoyable for more relaxing, simple game sessions, and was great for younger children. Its sequel, however, is not. Its ultimate downfall is that it is more frustrating than fun from start to finish, and I can't even imagine younger kids putting up with this one. If you ever get the chance to pick this one up for yourself, just remember, Titans, no!